Information Triad. I'm your host today, Teddy D. Lord Teddy D.
I am
Commodore Stewart.
Commodore?
Commodore.
Commodore.
Yes.
64.
Build like a brick
House.
house.
Ooh, she's matty. Just
Let
let
it
it
all
all hang out.
And speaking of brick houses, we have Madame Lish.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That was quite the segue.
It was. Golden Segway Award.
And
Aiming for it.
in today's show, we will be talking about the gem from the 90s, Skeleton Warriors.
Skeleton Warriors! Hey, can we really talk about how cheesy that song was?
Oh my god.
You know, the sad thing was, if they took out the lyrics, it's pretty decent music.
It actually is.
Yeah.
I meant the guitar riffs were actually pretty good
Yeah, it
for
was
it.
like it gets you pumped, and then they start. Here's this guy who does the thing. I don't remember it, obviously, but but then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Honestly, even that, I'm like, okay, you expect it from an 80s or 90s cartoon, but then when they hit that high note, it's just
like,
so cheesy.
it's
80s.
like, okay.
Skeleton Warriors! Yeah.
But can we also discuss the fact that the show is called Skeleton Warriors, but it's named after the bad guys,
Yes.
Yeah.
who are the Skeleton Warriors, and the good guys are the Legion of Light.
Yeah, which I kind of thought
Well,
that was
they did that.
interesting.
Yeah,
They did
because
that kind of with Dino Riders as well. Like,
Yeah.
the
Well, I mean,
actual...
Well, Dino Riders were the name of the good guys.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
and everybody
yeah.
wrote dinos, so it was
Yeah.
kind of
Everybody did, though.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually,
Yeah.
is that...
But I mean, I think that's part of the draw to it, because I thought it's like, oh, okay, it's like that's kind of bold, naming it after
The
the villain.
villains, yeah.
Which the main villain is Baron Dark. I know that's surprising with a name like that.
I
I honestly
for him
thought-
to be the good guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be the kindest, gentlest man around. I honestly did. I mean, let's throw up a picture of him
All right.
before the whole incident.
Yes.
So let's show a picture of him before he's one of the Skeleton Warriors.
Cute and cuddly.
My God, you want to just take him home and brush that mane of hair,
I
that
know.
glorious mane.
Indeed.
You want to. I want to snip it off of him while he's sleeping and
Yes.
turn it into a wig.
Fair enough.
But here's him after darkness and evil.
Still cute and cuddly. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Hey, you know.
Cute and cuddly.
Fair
Hey,
enough.
it takes off the pounds.
It does.
Yeah, you know. It's
I always
very,
thought the camera added pounds, but you
Yeah,
know what? This
no.
shows it to be the
Yeah,
reverse.
exactly.
You know what? I heard he had an eating disorder.
Oh. Oh my.
Oh my, well, yes. So
Well,
what is the basic premise?
Well, basically, they live on this planet called Lumeria.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because lights and
Mm-hmm.
what have you. And they have a city. Oh my goodness, I forgot what the city is.
Luminosity.
Luminosity. That's right. How could I forget that?
No, how could you?
And Luminosity is powered by this crystal,
Mm-hmm.
and the crystal powers the whole city. So it's, you know, you don't have to pay tax.
Power up the whole planet, basically. The
I
way
think
it
so.
implies.
They never really.
They never explained it because, well, go on, yeah.
Well, they never really, because Luminosity was kind of the focus. I mean, they did go to other towns in the show,
Mm-hmm.
but Luminosity was, I guess, the main city of their kingdom, and it was powered by this crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And Baron Dark wanted the crystal,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because he's power hungry.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he's tired of being a baron. He wants to be king.
Mm-hmm.
plus he just likes jewels.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He likes the bling.
Damn straight.
You know?
Bling, bling.
Blang blang.
Bling bling makes his little skeletal heart sing.
It does.
Yes.
I mean, if he had a heart, because
Oh, yeah,
he doesn't.
no.
If
Really.
Well, he has a
only
heart
had
stone.
a heart.
He does have a heart stone.
Yes.
That we'll
Close
discuss that in a
A
bit.
heart of stone?
It could be worse. It could have been a heart of glass.
Yeah.
Well, that would make
Oh,
me a
yeah.
gas.
Then he'd be Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
But
I
we
think
like him
should all
better.
pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
He looks better as a brunette anyway.
You're right, he does.
Yes.
And we've we've already discussed Debbie Harriet's
Speaking of,
debut into animated film.
True. That is true.
Speaking of strange things to do with their skeletal form, though, because you guys were kind of mentioning, he's got a heart, he looks different when he's transformed. He transforms all of his little cronies into skeletons as well, and they just think this is hilarious. First of all, that kind of makes me think villain life isn't so bad. They seem to have a good time. They're laughing like always.
They make the best of it.
They actually were having a
beyond
blast.
that, once they're turned into skeletons, okay, costume change I was kind of expecting. It just seems to be a given with any show where your physical form changes, your clothes just change too.
Right.
What I want to know is why the one female skeleton is still wearing her breastplate. Like, why does she even need that anymore?
Modesty!
Yeah.
She has a breastplate.
A breastplate for just ribs, which is the same thing that just the guys have. Ribs,
But-
that's
Right.
it.
Hers
There
might
are
be
no-
finger licking good.
Oh, dear Lord, you're paying for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you are.
I am. Worth it.
Yes, but
I would think you're more than likely licking the bone rather than your fingers.
oh my.
Oh, also.
Yeah, you're paid for that one too. Oh.
But anyway, we have the royal family. It's actually, from what I've read, their last name is Steele. But when they go,
They
when
never
become,
really mentioned that,
They
did they?
did not mention it in the show.
It was all in the back text.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of, because there was a bunch of action figures to go along with it. There was action figures of every single villain character. There was action figures of the two and the three lead male characters, but they never made one of Talon, the female character.
That's unfortunate. She was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had her moments. She really did.
She was pretty fly.
Oh.
Ah. The only reason she didn't have more moments is they just didn't really write a whole lot for her, I would say, but that's kind of like...
Yeah, there wasn't, unfortunately, didn't seem to be much to her character,
Not
which
really.
is a shame.
That's the writer's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But, I mean, I have to say, for what was there, like, the way you kind of talked it up to us, we were expecting it to be, like, one of the worst things we were going to watch. Or at least I was expecting it to be one of the worst things I was going to watch. But it ended up actually not being as awful as I was expecting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I do remember maybe kind of seeing a little bit of this when I was a kid, because my brother would watch it. So I remember the golden skull that like narrates in the beginning and at the end.
And that was like my favorite part.
And I
was
have to
actually
say,
cool.
that really adds value to the show in my opinion. Not only is it still a beautiful effect, even like 20 years later, but also it gets you like thinking about the show in a broader sense before you even jump into the episode. And then it kind of sums up for you. It's like...
Right, it's funny because you have kind of like this cheesy 90s cartoon, and then you have this skull being all existential.
And philosophical, if you will.
Yeah.
Right?
It's so
Some of the stuff was pretty like, you really reached into the philosophy book there, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
Get into that. Oh.
If only the actual show were as deep as what the skeleton talked about in
I
the
mean,
beginning.
that would have been cool, but...
I mean, it had its moments when
But
there
it
was some
did
pretty
add
good
value.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like with this, what was their last name? Steele or something?
It was Steele, and then they decided to go with code names because reasons.
Yeah, that didn't
Because
make
the
much sense.
Guardian just decided, I'm going to rename all of you because I said so.
Yeah.
You're now so-and-so. You're now so-and-so.
You're Talon. You're Justin Lightstar. You're
Justin Bieber.
Grimskull.
Oh, which I did
It's
like
a name
Grimskull.
that-
Grimskull is
fitting.
actually really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that they didn't just automatically turn him bad because he was ugly, which was like a popular thing to do in the 80s and 90s. If you were an ugly character, you were automatically bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what I liked about him, like, well, we should probably start discussing the characters themselves.
We should.
Yes.
Character time!
Character time!
Woo-hoo!
Well, I mean, like, we've discussed Baron Dark, who's the main antagonist. Well, when he goes to steal the crystal, the youngest child, I think he's the youngest.
Yes, he is.
Is Jacob. And he's upset because his older brother's going to be king, and he thinks he'd be a better king. of course. So
when he was first introduced, I really didn't like him. He was really just like, would someone smack this little bastard already?
See, I didn't feel that way. I'm just like, okay, when he was first introduced, I'm like, alright, he's jealous. He's a little brother. It's not the worst thing. He's not a bad guy. He's just a little spoiled. So he didn't bother me. In fact, if anything, the way he was introduced kind of got me interested in the show because they didn't waste time with, like, too much exposition. They got right into, no, you can't do this. I'm trying to look out for you. No, you're not trying to look out for me. You're trying to run my life. I'm like, oh my god, drama. I'm here for it. Where's the popcorn?
No,
I was ready.
I did like
they got
that.
me into it.
That's the thing I liked about this show over Dino Riders. Like the characters had a little more depth.
They did.
Yeah,
they had a lot more depth.
Because like Justin is, he's the lead.
He's the prince.
Light Star.
Protagonist.
Yeah, he's the protagonist. He's also the prince regent.
Yes, exactly.
Because their father's gone missing.
Yes.
Which they don't really explain except towards the very end, I think.
It's towards the very end you find out what happens to his father.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah. We won't
Except
go too much
it's not
into that.
spoiled because you don't know yet.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Go
won't go
find
too
it
much
on
into
YouTube
that.
like we had to and find out what
Strong
happened to Daddy.
implication.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
Yes, there
Yes.
you go.
But Light Star was, he was not the best prince, and I think that's what made him an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because he was flawed, and even after they got their powers, which happened when they split the crystal in half, they got the good side, where Baron Dark got the bad side, and that allowed him to turn his followers into skeleton warriors. Skeksis.
I'm paying for that one, but it's worth it. If I can make a Dark Crystal joke, I will.
Wow.
Jim Henson, motherfucker!
So we do say the word fuck sometimes.
We do.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Right.
That was quite a stretch.
No bones about it.
Ah.
Yeah, you're gonna get that humor a lot in this series. A lot of bone jokes.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes even ones about skeletons.
Oh, go figure.
But actually, my favorite was like over time. Jacob becomes Grimskull because he gets caught in the blast when the crystal is brought. So he's part dark, part light.
I thought it reflected more his character because he was somewhat corrupt because he helped Baron Dark get to the crystal.
Yeah,
and then he had a change of heart.
Yeah, he was gullible.
Yeah, he was.
He was pretty gullible.
Yeah.
And then the whole series is like, because he even comments is like, oh, you have the power. Like his brother has the power to shoot lasers. His sister flies. And he's like, and I have the power to scare orphans and puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really like that line.
Was funny.
I love that.
There are some really good lines in this.
Yes, I agree. Like there was this one time actually where the villains were playing with a dog, and the dog is like licking his face, and he's like, ha ha ha, that tickles. I'm like, brother, you ain't got no nerve endings.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, okay, like later on he's trying to teach the dog how to play fetch. He's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Let me show you.
Oh, and then they're trying to name the dog, which is a skeleton dog now.
Right.
And the little dwarf character, Dagger.
Dagger, yes.
Yeah, he goes, well, I suppose Fluffy's out of the question.
Aww.
Which I'm like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some good humor.
Yeah, and what makes the skeleton warriors so hard to fight is because when you knock them down, they just come back together.
Yeah.
They're basically unkillable. And so they're able to basically take everything over.
They just overrun people.
Oh yeah, because they get knocked down,
but they get up again.
And you're never gonna keep them
down.
No.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we're all paying for that.
Okay.
One. Yeah.
I took you right down with me.
I'll get that for you.
And I thought that was actually there were some moments in it. Like I think it was the third episode where they met that one guy who survived an attack from them by hiding.
Yeah.
And it's implied that his entire squadron was just destroyed by them.
That was a really good episode. That's probably my favorite episode.
That was
because
one of the best
they really
episodes.
dealt with. This guy. He was because he was
PTSD.
ashamed.
Yeah.
He was ashamed, and he was like he felt he was a coward, and he gets turned into
Skeleton.
a skeleton
warrior.
and he's trying to, he feels like he's really a bad person,
Mm-hmm.
but Talon sees him, as the man.
She sees his heart.
She does, and
she breaks the heartstone inside of him.
exactly.
She breaks his heart.
She breaks his heart, and
because she can.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
and it makes him better, surprisingly.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes a little pain makes it better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so
it's
he's
so
like,
good.
oh hey, maybe I'm so it's cool that he was redeemable,
Yeah,
And,
that is cool.
and they found kind of a weakness to
Yeah.
the skeleton warriors.
Which they-
spoiler, sorry.
Yeah, that they then
No,
take
it's
like
fine.
5 episodes to address again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to get that close to
Yeah.
them because they're not going to let you.
Well, here's the thing.
Right.
Grimskull actually could.
Oh, that's
Constantly. He's using... Grimskull has the power to warp between shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Anywhere there's a shadow, if he can think of it, he can go there.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was actually one I thought was really cool.
Like my favorite is just real quick,
Yeah, go ahead.
where he's cornered by this one dude, and so
Mhm.
he just walks into the back of a shadow, and the guy's like, and he comes out of the shadow of his cloak.
Yes!
And I thought like
Inside
that
and
is
punches him.
badass.
Yeah, that was
I'm like,
cool.
Yeah.
they're all wearing clothes that, like capes and stuff.
Yeah.
All he has to do is warp inside and, like, poke.
Ah, that's true.
Yeah. But, yeah, I actually really liked his powers, and there was some really good scenes in it. And the villains, I will say, had some good schemes occasionally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I think it was episode 4 or 5 when they sent the heroes the tape of Jacob betraying everyone at the start of the
yeah.
series.
And so the prince
Mm-hmm.
was just kind of like, well, they already don't like my brother
Mm-hmm.
as it is, and so to build trust, I have to let him lead. So
Mhm.
I will take the punishment,
Mhm.
and Grimskull can prove his innocence. And I thought, like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's ballsy.
And they also
Yeah.
introduced a monster in that episode called the Conquering Worm.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my.
That is actually an Edgar Allan Poe reference
Oh, is it?
to a
Really?
poem by the same name about the struggles of death.
It does not sound like something that should be in a kids show.
No.
No, it actually sounds like something out of H.P. Lovecraft, was what I thought it was at first, but I
Yeah.
looked it up and it was actually a reference to Edgar Allan Poe. So I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that is kind of nifty.
Yeah,
I
there's
did
some...
not think that deep. So.
Yeah. Oh, I
A
hadn't
lot
heard
of
the
a
name
lot of
before.
shows and movies will do that to you. They'll just
Yeah.
kind of slip in like the deeper literary references.
Hmm.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
I did not think about that. I just thought it was a cool episode. But
It was a cool episode, yeah.
I have to say also
Mm-hmm.
the voice acting was pretty good in it. I know I tend to be critical of a lot of 80s and 90s voice acting, being
Mhm.
like, oh my god, it's so over the top.
Well.
But I actually really liked it. I don't know if it's just because I liked the tone of
Yeah.
so many of the characters' voices, but I really liked just the deep,
Mhm.
raspy, like
Oh, yeah.
dramatic
Oh,
sounds
yeah,
of a lot of the male actors.
Baron Dark had a
Um,
great voice.
He did.
And he actually passed, the actor for him, I can't remember his name, but he passed away in 2013. One of his major roles was in Doom 3 as one of the main
Oh.
Yeah,
characters.
I believe his
Oh,
name
yeah,
was
he-
Philip L. Clark. Don't quote me on it.
No, actually, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
you're right that it was
Uh-huh.
that.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I loved the voice acting. I loved Baron Dark's voice, but I also really enjoyed Guardian's voice.
mhm.
And strangely enough, the women's voices didn't bother me as much
Yeah.
as they usually would in an
Yeah.
80s or 90s cartoon. I felt like rather than them sounding overdone and like this, they
Mhm.
maybe actually just kind of
No,
talked normally
Talon
for once in
sounded
their
like
life.
she was a tougher chick. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish they developed her more.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, so 'cause
So
she's
do
like,
I.
It would have been nice.
I fly and care about my brothers. It's like,
And my brother.
I fly.
And my
I care about people I know, and also sometimes people
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Groundbreaking. No,
Right.
you stereotypical.
It's funny you mentioned the voice acting, though, because the voice actor for Justin,
Yeah.
the Prince Justin, was the
Lightstar.
voice... Yes, Lightstar.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same voice actor for Johnny Bravo.
Oh yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And of course, Jim Cummings is in this as
Oh.
like many
Oh, yeah.
additional
Oh,
voices.
Jim Cummings is in everything.
Wasn't he,
so-
He
Uh,
is, but I just kind of
Was
feel
he
like
Dagger?
I don't know.
No,
it
I don't
said
think he was
additional
Dagger.
voices.
Just additional
Oh.
voices?
Yeah.
He might. There was a character that was introduced near the end of the series called Claw, and
Mm.
I think that was Jim Cummings.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
Yeah. And he was just like this crazy werewolf creature that became, spoiler, a bone
remember.
creature.
I
Ah.
couldn't
Yeah.
remember all of the more ancillary characters' names, unfortunately. So
Oh,
then
no,
later
no.
on, I'm like,
There was
these
a-
voices sound familiar, but why? So I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
IMDb to the rescue. I'm
Right,
like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a pretty decent show, I will
Yeah,
say. It
it
only
was.
had 13 episodes.
It's not bad.
No.
Interestingly enough, I never watched it as a kid, but I was aware of it. I remember going to KB Toys and seeing the action figures and stuff, but my biggest memory of it actually comes from a live action movie.
Oh.
Yeah, the Indian in the Cupboard live action movie.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
The kid, whose name I can't remember, he...
I'm surprised you remember the movie, to be honest.
I loved the book series.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, the book series were actually really good. Very different than the movie. But the movie was also one of the first times I've seen someone shrunk down with that size.
Oh,
adjustment.
yeah.
How they did that in the film was actually really
pretty
cool.
Yeah.
Whenever he took the little Indian action figurines from the display in the movie, he would replace them with the Skeleton Warrior action figures he
I remember
had.
that. That is.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, I remember that
Yeah.
toy.
I was kind of wished that he put the skeleton.
Oh, yeah,
that
Well, he did put Darth Vader action figure in it.
Oh yeah, he
Scene.
did. That was.
I've gone off on a huge tangent
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm paying for that one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you guys are paying for that one.
yeah, I'm the one who did it, so you don't have to pay. That was me.
Oh no, I indulged.
He
Oh yeah, you
followed
did.
me
You're
down.
right.
I
You
did.
indulged.
that's
You
what I
followed
said.
it down the rabbit hole.
I did.
Yes.
All right.
So ultimately, decent show.
Yeah.
I would recommend. It's a good. What I like to call them, babysitters.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because you can put your kid in front of it and then
Mhm.
it'll entertain them.
Oh, definitely.
Father of the Year.
there
Yeah.
were
It's
video
like-
games for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega
Honestly-
Saturn and PlayStation.
You
And
could- you
I'm gonna
could
pay for this
probably-
one. Barney saved my butt on a lot of time, in a lot of situations.
How so?
Well, I used to do babysitting for my friends.
Oh, I
see.
So,
that's
right.
and you get the question where do babies come from? It's like, oh, it's Barney. So,
Right.
it's like I'm not ruining your childhood. Someone else can do that.
Ask your mother.
You should ask your mom, because you know
Exactly.
what? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I merely supply.
Yeah.
The rest is her job.
Wow. Oh my God.
I'm gonna pay for that out of guilt.
You should.
You should pay $2 for that. That's
That's
kind of
fine.
bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was pretty
I-
That's
bad.
pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
but they
figure.
Should, they should be legal. They should be legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skeleton Warriors. No, I actually really I remember enjoying the show when I was a kid. Well, I wasn't too young, I think, because in the '90s, I think I was just getting into high school. But I was a geek, so I still watch cartoons.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You're only as old as you feel.
Mm-hmm. And in all honesty, it's one of the better ones I've seen. I'd say it's kind of like not Dino Riders. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good for what it was.
Yeah.
But I
And-
have to say, the voice acting in this was even better than the voice acting in Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Yeah, and if we're going on based off from that time period, that was one of our better ones from that time period too.
Mhm.
So yeah, the voice acting has gotten better in the ones we've reviewed since then.
Mm-hmm.
I think-
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I feel like cartoons really got. That's where they really got going was the '90s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many treasures.
Oh yeah. You guys some really
And
good ones.
honestly, watching more of these 80s and 90s cartoons actually really, really makes me appreciate Cadillacs and Dinosaurs more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially Dino Riders. That just really makes you
Yeah.
appreciate the gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Conceptually, it's cool.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, right,
I mean,
Right.
it is.
Conceptually, yes.
Yes.
Execution is where it just
Yeah.
This, though,
fell
the
face first
execution
into
was...
a lake of piranhas and then
Yeah.
lit itself on fire and then jumped down the throat of the nearest T-Rex.
So you didn't like it?
It was funny.
Oh.
Yeah. The execution was pretty good. Naturally, you know, still have some critiques regarding branching out on a few things, but
Yeah.
overall, actually, I did enjoy the series, what I watched of it.
I think my biggest critique is probably it was full of exposition. Like, you know, like I mean, villains do this in everything, but it's like you knew every thought the guy was having, and it's just kind of like less is more.
Streamlined. It could have been streamlined a bit better.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there was some pacing issue for you.
There was.
Yeah.
There was a bit of a pacing, but again, 90s cheese, so I forgive it. But
well, if it's 90s cheese, it's pretty good.
Ha ha ha.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm paying for
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'd recommend it as just a novelty little, surprisingly good series.
yeah, it's
Same.
yep,
Mhm.
it's something to do in an afternoon.
Oh yeah, and what was that? What was the spell that Baron used to turn people into the skeleton warriors? Because that was actually really cool. It was. So how did it go again? It went
hold on. I
You
think.
might have to look it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna borrow your phone here. Buddy.
It's okay. That's why we
Alright.
have this.
All right.
Technical difficulty, folks.
Here we go. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Darkest soul, evil's courier, serve me as a skeleton warrior.
What the
Oh.
hell?
Well, this is a little unexpected.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Teddy, how did you do that? You would have needed the crystal to do that.
Really? I brought the crystal.
Well, I guess any old thing will work.
I guess so.
Well, I guess I'm off to commit evil deeds as an evil skeleton now.
Hey!
Awesome!
Hooray for small victories. In the meantime, we are definitely experiencing technical difficulties, so please stand by. But while we are fixing him up, let's just let you know what's happening next. Let's give you a little clue. It's not a clue so much as a spoiler, are reviewing Death Note! Yes!
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
I have
Alright.
got the perfect Halloween costume this year.
Yeah, you do.
He really, really does. That's very convincing. Absolutely. So,
I believe it.
thank you again for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click like, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment below because we love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit that notifications bell since it will alert you every single time we upload. And why would you want to miss it? We have skits now. We're
Actually,
more
we
than
do.
reviews. We have skits. We are, not to toot our own horn,
Yeah.
but kind of badasses.
Every
We
six
are
subscriber.
bad to the bone.
And on that note, we really need to do something about these puns, but we are going to go for now. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you next time.
As usual, I'm Stu, or as you can call me, Bone Daddy.
Bone Daddy, Stu, Lish, and of course,
Teddy D.
we'll see you next time, initiates.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.